So, hi, I'm Piret from Estonia. I'm Estonian Librarians Association's Young Professionals Club board member, and I'm just gonna start from the beginning. So, our club started when Latvians, our neighbors, invited us to visit. So, Jana and Brigitta went to visit your 4CanGurus in March 2014, and you did such a good job by telling them what an excellent idea it would be to start a club, that once they came back, they heard from our Libraries Association that another person, Nina, was thinking about starting a club. So good ideas met, and by May our club was created, and the rest is history. So you can see, thanks to you, Latvia. So at first there were about 10 members, and Lina was our leader before she went off to do other career moves. And we got ourselves a mission to unite young information specialists into a progressive, optimistic, and active power, which is great, and create connections. So by now we have about 30 members, plus 12 supporting members, because we do have an age limit. It's 35, and once that hits, it's not like we kick you out, but if we get funding, then we won't pay for the older members. But the supporting members are still active and still want to stuff together, and that's great. But like Aira and others Lithuanians were talking about, that young people, even if they study information science, they won't go to work at the library. So we do have this problem that there are not enough new people coming to the club, because I mean it's been 6 years and I'm 32, so yeah, 3 more years and then we'll see what's gonna happen. So so the club is mainly run by 3 board members, Helen Karja, Jana Tõnisson, and me. And so this is Helen, our current leader at IFLA conference. She got a scholarship and went to investigate how other countries where they're headed with their libraries. And she was absolutely thrilled about the conference and was like, "Oh, Piret, you should apply for a scholarship and go to Ireland this year." Yeah, so much for that. That didn't happen. It was cancelled for obvious reasons. So maybe next year, we'll see. But in the beginning of 2020, when life was still good, our member Janika Tapo got the title for Best Young Librarian, because she's truly a person with great energy. She worked 2 jobs at both public and school library. She finished her master's degree that year. She did book yoga. She did night library with younger students. She wrote projects to get writers to come to the libraries in her region. She did so many things: treasure hunts, literature, movie nights, and yeah. So this was great. We were very proud of her. We still are, obviously. And in February, we're where life was still normal, Maris and Helene did work stress affects even librarians. That was our winter seminar, annual winter seminar. We try to do it every year, and talked about burning out and how stressful librarians' job can be. And it was very appropriate because, as we all know, a few months later, we all got a ton of stress. And the main thing, well, one of the themes was how to balance work and home life. And yeah, that came in handy because, well, we were in the home office, and it is hard. Even when you're not actually working, you're thinking about the work, or you forget, or, well, at my case, sometimes you forget to, you know, it's time to finish work, but you still want to do that one thing. And yeah, that was it. Great. And in spring, we usually have our meetings where we talk about the year behind and what we're going to do this year, and do some fun activities. You can see the change of mood a bit because this was this year's annual meeting, and everything that needed to be talked about got talked about, but the mood was not so jolly as it usually is, but it's fine. And earlier this year, since our BibliCamp got cancelled, that is like your 4CanGuru. It's 3 days, just the club members talking about whatever we need to talk about. The spokespeople, and got cancelled, but we did try to do more online activities. And for one, we invited librarians to record their workdays during the pandemic. And I think there's nothing surprising. You probably all did that. You put books in quarantine and take contact-free lendings. And these are the few examples of home offices and contact-free lending services and the overall mood. And you probably know, we've all been here. And then one of the biggest events of this year was Congress of Baltic Librarians, which was supposed to be in Tartu originally, but got to be online, and I think it went very well. Our clubs from Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania were asked to do a collaboration and present a short video about what we were doing in our countries, where we were headed. And I think it turned out great. I even put a few examples of what we talked about. There was robotics and book yoga and makerspace. And from Estonia part, there was seed library and community gardens, which are very, very good here. And book depositories, which have, because before the pandemic, only National Library and Tartu University's library had book depositories. But afterwards, I think by May, my library, Tallinn University's academical library, got their book depository, and it's been going really well. Within a few months, there was 2,000 books lent by this book depository, and I feel like pretty much every week we hear about another library getting their book dispenser, and that's great. That's been like a silver lining in all this, because we have talked about this for so long, that we should get get it, and it would be more user-friendly and 24/7 and all that. But now, just all we needed was a little pandemic, and it all worked out. So this was great. And for the plans, we plan to make online events. For example, next week the club will host an activity online training, self-management and good format work. During the training, we will talk about work motivation, efficient use of time, and stress management, which is good because, again, we need to manage our time and work on our stress levels. And somewhere in the future, hopefully very near future, lots and lots of physical meetings and events and picnics and hangouts, because everybody's tired of not actually meeting people in person, because this is great, but for example, me, I miss people. I think yeah, I really do. And but for again a silver lining, the IFLA young professionals have been asking around that maybe we would like to do something next year online together, and that's always good. I think it helps a lot for the collaboration. We've been talking about collaboration for a really long time, but maybe now we will get to do it.